chest. Jump in center will be Edo against Brandon Clark, as the Spartans will move from left to right here in this first half. And the opening tip-off is won by Fresno State back into the right. We're underway from the event center here in this rivalry game. It's Watson on the left side, guarded closely, and a dribble handoff handed to Hopkins around the perimeter. Up with a defense to Edo. Now Edo in tight, going around. And Clark will score it off the glass. But believe it or not, that was the first opening tip-off this year that Brandon Clark did not win. Spartans had gone 13 games in a row, and Brandon Clark had won every single opening tip-off. Now a runner in the lane, partially by Edo, and grabbed by Russo. Russo with a head on a swivel, looking to the right side, trailing and catching as Paul Watson got it back to Russo. Up fake, tosses down low. Edo is hacked by Gary Williams Jr. and by Brandon Clark. On the catch, foul goes against Gary Williams Jr. It was Edo shooting, and I think he was. So he'll go to the free throw line. Edo is such a tremendous scorer from down low, even though 6'6". There are many that tower over him in the Mountain West Conference. Really does use his size, strength, and athleticism to position himself properly. Time and time again. 2 free throws, though, missing. Those shots from Edo, who is 11 of 23 now this season from the free throw line. 2-0 Bulldogs, first minute. Gary Williams Jr. now. Jab step left. Crosses over, lobs down low for Brandon Clark. Wasn't there on the back door, so he left-hand dribbles into the lane, tries to scoop it up. It was no good. There for the putback and rolling around the rim and from Gary Williams Jr. That was a great effort from Gary. He got where he needed to be, just couldn't finish underneath the hoop. Still 2-0. Bulldogs. Around a screen goes Paul Watson over to Russo. Up fake again. Holding on the perimeter is now Taylor. Taylor weaves in. Russo down low. He denied at the rim. Out ahead to James. James crossed the timeline, hits the brakes on the right side wing, looking for the handoff. Gary Williams Jr. did not grab it. Now James drives into the free throw line, spins around, fades away a jumper, back iron miss. High for the rebound. Come the Bulldogs with Hopkins. He wants to run, sprints over across the half-court line, weaves his way across the defense, down the lane. Little wild runner off the side of the rim was no good. Cody Schwartz now catches and hits the brakes on the left side wing. Schwartz back up top for Brandon Clark, puts it on the floor, tried to stumble his way through a couple of defenders and traveled with the basketball. That's the game's first turnover. Still a 2-0 Bulldog lead, first 2 minutes. And the Spartans are 0 of 4 from the field to start off play. Now Hopkins over to his left side. It's Watson around the perimeter. Edo dribble handoff for Hopkins once more. Back up top for Russo. Dribble handoff. Around the screen comes Hopkins. Bounce pass down low. Stolen away by Gary Williams Jr. He was right where he needed to be with Edo on the block. Now Gary across the half-court line behind the back dribble. Stops over on the left side wing and rotates it back up top to Ryan Welledge. Welledge sets a screen for Cody Schwartz. Drifts over to his right. Now Brandon Clark up top. Gary Williams Jr. with 15 seconds to shoot. Drives in. Leaves his feet. And we have a foul coming in against Fresno State on that drive. Coming into Jamel Taylor. That's the first foul against Fresno State. And that's the aggressiveness Coach Wojcik was talking about. He wanted to see players drive and draw fouls. It just was not the case in the game against Colorado State. Waiting for it is James. He throws it into Brandon Clark. Clark on a post-up move, trying to back down his defender. Left-hand dribble, weaves it outside for a Ryan Welledge 3-ball. That's halfway down and out. No good. Spartans still have not scored in the first 3 minutes. 2-0 Bulldogs. Russo had an open look for a 3, pulled it back down though, fed it across for Hopkins, who dribbles in, cuts across, throws to his right, and it was deflected out of play off the Spartans. Well, the Bulldogs haven't scored in the last 2.5, but the Spartans haven't either. They haven't scored yet. 2-0. Both teams have not been able to get things going here offensively. Now a dribble drive put on the floor was Watson, and taking advantage to try and get that runner down. He did to lay it in. Steal on the other end of the floor. Gary Williams Jr. had his pocket picked. Out comes Hopkins. Hopkins to the rim. Tries to sky in for a tomahawk jam. Partially blocked at the rack by Brandon Clark. And that went wildly to the side. Picked up by the Spartans. And a foul called against Fresno State. Well, Terrell Carter comes in The junior at 6'10", a 290-pound junior. J.C. Hilsman will also check in for the Spartans as Brandon Mitchell comes in as well. Wellage and Williams both take seats. 4-0. We're almost 3.5 in. Jalen James, high right-hand dribble, backs up against Taylor and now takes him right side. And Taylor with another arm bar, called for the foul. Taylor, that's his second personal foul, so he will have to come out as Deshaun Taylor will replace him. Deshaun Taylor, the sophomore guard, transfer from KC. And here's Cody Schwartz to inbound baseline right, lobs it into Jalen James. Caught a quick touch, and now Brandon Clark driving in, right-hand finish as he went around Russo. Russo tried to stand in there and take the charge, but the ability and the swift feet of Brandon Clark got around him. Here's Terrell Carter up top, dribbling down the lane. He tries to finish with 10. It wouldn't go. Brandon Mitchell the rebound. Out ahead, 4-on-3 come the Spartans. Into the corner, J.C. Hilsman trailing is Brandon Clark. He drives in, spin move down the paint. Right-hand floater, good. Brandon Clark with the skills and the trailing opportunity. Nice job from him to tie things up, and now we have an offensive foul called against Fresno State on the other side. Ball from Learfield. Foul on their way to the break. And that one against Paul Watson. So, yes, it did, Paul Watson. So, 2 fouls for Taylor, who's on the bench. Watson with 1 and Terrell Carter with 1 as well. Spartans have the basketball moving left to right. On the angle, it's J.C. Hilsman. Up top for James. Rising for a chance of 3 is Cody Schwartz, and he got it. Cody Schwartz with a nice head fake and a crossover to get himself a better look at that 3. And he knocked it down. Good sign for the Spartans to see Cody hit his first shot of the game. And now we have a foul coming in against J.C. Hilsman on the post-up. Going against Cullen Russo. J.C. Hilsman with his first personal foul. That's second team foul for the Spartans. 15-19 to go. Spartans with their first lead. And on the inbound, it is Taylor. Taylor across for Watson, drifting over to his right side, calling for a screen. Never really did come, so he hands off to Hopkins. Hopkins on a crossover, fed into the corner once more. Taylor rotates to his left. Long bounce to Russo. Pulls up for the mid-range 2 and got it from the baseline, right side. Cullen Russo can sky with the best of them. Really does a nice job playing with his back to the rim, but in that time, used the mid-range jumper to establish his first shot of the game. Jalen James now left-hand crossover, takes the 3, and he hits it. Jalen James getting his first shot to go down as well. Jalen James 42% from the perimeter this season. He's 19 of 44 now. Up top, it's Taylor. Chest pass left side. Watson catching eye to eye with J.C. Hilsman. Goes around one quick high pick. And over to the right side it comes for Hopkins. Looking and surveying at the floor. Looks up at the shot clock with 10 seconds on it. Takes a crossover around Jalen James. Guard against him. Tried to poke it. Now a runner is wildly put up by Hopkins. It was no good. Got his own rebound. The putback was also not there. Got a third chance, and it was swatted away by Brandon Clark. Loose ball came back out to James. Brandon Clark was lying in the weeds waiting for that one. Now James hands to Schwartz. Back over to J.C. Hilsman on the left side wing. Crossover dribble, and J.C. traveled with it. J.C. frustrated with himself. Only played 1 minute against Colorado State. And J.C. Hilsman, who has played just a couple minutes here, already has a turnover and a foul. Isaiah Nichols will come in to replace him. J.C. getting a word from Coach Wojcik as Ashton Chastain, E.J. Boyce, and Isaiah Nichols come in for the Spartans. This is a group that provided a nice 5-minute burst against Colorado State. It's a 10-6 Spartan lead, and now a teardrop down the lane from Hopkins was no good. Another offensive rebound, though. Colliding was Bryson Williams. Got to the loose ball and then went up with a blind kind of hook shot from the baseline. Got fouled in doing so. Well, offensive rebounds. We've seen the Spartans have an average of 12 per game this year. The Bulldogs, meanwhile, just had their third offensive rebound of this game. Free throw coming from Williams. That was good. a local product from Fresno, went to Roosevelt High School, and a freshman. He was one of the starters before Edo came back, and now he hits his second free throw. Williams started 11 games already this year, averaging 7 points, and he's shooting close to 70% from the field. And that's not because of a small sample size. That's just how he's shooting this year. Brandon Mitchell fires a pass on a bounce down low, and it's deflected by the Bulldogs out of play with 16 seconds on the shot clock. Now Bryson Williams, 69.6% from the field in 15 minutes per game over the course of 15 games. Terrell Carter shooting 62% from the field. That's why you see such a high shooting percentage from this Bulldogs team. 48% this year. Chastain and Mid check out. Wellage comes back in, and so does Isaac Thornton for the first. And on the inbound, it's a stolen ball by Russo. Russo in for a two-hand throwdown. Russo was being chased down by Ryan Wellage, and Russo took it all the way to the rack for the finish. So it's back to a tie at 10. Ryan Wellage now over to the left side, almost thrown away, but flagged down by Nichols, right in front of Coach Terry. And the Bulldog bench out for Boyce. Boyce over on a touch pass to Ryan Wellage, and he travels with it. Wellage caught, tried to jab step, and then pump fake. And that extra little motion is a travel for Ryan Wellage, and that's 5 first-half turnovers already from the Spartans for a team that really hasn't turned the ball over much throughout conference play. They've averaged single-digit turnovers in the first 2 conference games. Russo, left side, and angling it back to Russo was Hopkins. Now a good dribble drive from Russo on the baseline. Feathered a pass to the perimeter. Good defensive positioning by the Spartans, not allowing another drive. And now a pull-up from Watson. Watson catches around, and now a 3-second violation down low inside the lane, assessed to Williams. So, the Spartans get it back, as that turnover was Fresno State's 3rd. Isaac Thornton on the left side wing, off the dribble, bounces it down low for Brandon Clark. Left side block, jump step into the paint, and left his feet. Mitchell was cutting, and he was looking to pass while he was airborne in the lane, and Mitchell just did not anticipate that at all. That's not something we've seen Brandon Clark do once this year, but he decided it was probably best as he picked up the double team down low. Meanwhile, Russo around to the left side, 12:04 to play in the first in a 10-10 game. It is Paul Watson with the maneuverability on the right side, angle, across for Taylor. Backdoor cuts on the left side, and a travel here. Catching is Hopkins. And much like Ryan Wells, enter for the Spartans. So the Spartans have E.J. Boyce, Brandon Clark, Brandon Mitchell, Gary Williams Jr., and Jalen James on the floor right now. Bulldogs also making a couple of substitutions as well. We'll get you those in a moment. Here's Brandon Clark on a drive, and he travels with it. And Brandon Clark catching, trying to move, and travel. That's the 3rd time the Spartans have been called for it, and the Bulldogs have been called once. I mean, at least they're calling it both ways, but they're not allowing the players to play. Just not something you see. Sam Bittner inbounds for the Bulldogs. He was one of the men to enter, as Jamel Taylor comes back in playing with 2 fouls as well. Taylor, right side, Paul Watson holding the ball with the left hand, crossing over his dribble, stopping in between the circles, now throwing right side, and he throws it away. Boy, this first half's turned into a sloppy one for both teams. And we've had a combined 11, now 12 turnovers between these two teams. And we're at the 11-23 mark. These are 2 teams that really don't turn the ball over that much. 13.5 per game for Fresno State this year, and 12.5 per game for the Spartans this season. But something's got to give, and these teams got to get going, it seems like. James scooped back from Brandon Clark. Now James accelerates down the right side of the lane, goes up for a high finger roll lay-in. Just not enough on it as it angled off the side of the rim. Now Taylor in transition, holding up, and James goes over to defend him, and Taylor traveled with it. And Coach Terry is over there, and I just heard him say that's a bad call. And I tend to agree with him. I mean, they are calling it both ways. That is all I'll say. But that is the fifth time by my count. Gary Williams Jr. behind the back dribble, high right hand. And now tosses it right side with a chest pass. It's James up top for Clark. Looking. Nowhere to go, so Gary Williams Jr. gets it back on a jab step. Step back. Now crosses over, throws left side. E.J. Boyce has it with 5 seconds to shoot. Wants to rise, can't. Gary Williams Jr. 2 seconds to shoot. Backs up, takes a deep two, and can't hit it. Off the side of the rim as the shot clock buzzer sounds. Rebound, Watson. Watson around a high pick. Up top, in between the circles. Now a bounce and a backdoor feed to Edo, all alone underneath the rim for a two-hand lay-in. Edo's second basket of the game, and it's a Bulldog lead, 12-10. Picked up in the half court, James, and Taylor is all over him. That's Deshaun Taylor. Now Gary Williams Jr. trying to go against Bittner down the right side of the lane. Floats one up that was too firm off the back of the rim. And taken away by the Bulldogs. Taylor in transition, catches and shoots the three. It was no good on the box out. And a block by Brandon Clark as Edo got the offensive rebound. And Clark was there for his third block of the game. On the other side, Edo says, if you can do it, I can do it. And he goes for the block. Now going in, Paul Watson on the other end of the floor. Lay it in with a right hand. Boy, Edo had the offensive rebound, then the block. And on the other side of the floor, he went face up with Brandon Clark and blocked him. Gary Williams Jr. driving baseline. Finger roll in. Falls. Spartans had not scored in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. But there, Gary Williams Jr. at least breaks that unfortunate trend for the Spartans, and it's a 14-12 game. The Bulldogs again go to Edo down low, and once more nobody marked him or boxed him out. Edo scores a relatively easy basket for his third lay-in and 6th point of the game. James tosses left side. Gary Williams Jr. again, up fake on the perimeter, dribbled it off of his own foot and out of play. Jerron Hopkins comes in for the Bulldogs. Spartans getting a full chain almost of 5 players. And I only count 4 players on the court right now for the Spartans. I only see 4, and yeah, Spartans do not have a 5th player. And Edo scored as a result of it. Kept looking around to see where their 5th player was. So the Spartans, how was that a technical foul? Well, now Coach Wojcik is getting an explanation as to why this is a technical foul. There was 4 players on the court, and one official saying that's a technical foul. I don't know that rule at all, and Coach Wojcik is saying that's not a technical foul. I mean, Taylor will take some free throws, and you know, that's a rule that needs to be looked up because you just don't see it. But that is one point that the Spartans will shake their heads at, and really that lay-in too, because the Spartans had 4 players on the court. Unbelievable. Wow. Now Nichols, left side for Cody Schwartz. Holding the ball with 2 hands, runs around the Mitchell pick, and now Ryan Wellage turns his back on a defender. On a pivot step, 15 seconds to shoot in the 19-12 game. E.J. Boyce rising for a high arcing 3, no. And tying for the board, Bittner, the rebound. Bittner up to Taylor. Taylor looking cross court, Hopkins trailing now for a 3 on the way, and good from Deshaun Taylor. Meanwhile, we have a timeout called by Coach Wojcik. 22-12. San Jose State trailing the Bulldogs of this game. And an 8-0 run in the last minute of play. Jalen James trying to drive past his defender, knocks a man over. Taylor goes to the hardwood, now feathered into the corner for Cody Schwartz. Throws cross court, stolen away by Taylor. And that was Jamel Taylor. So the 9th turnover of the game for the Spartans in the first half. Russo holding, floating left side. Taylor comes around to pick, curls around, hands to the opposite Taylor, Jamel, and Deshaun playing catch with it. Deshaun crosses over down the right side, a physical drive. Holding it was Hopkins. Angled the pass back out for a catch and shoot three from the right side, and that one is good from Deshaun Taylor, who was 9 of 38 from the perimeter coming into this game, but already has his second three-point basket. Jalen James now backing down his defender. Over to his left side now. Ryan Welledge had that ball knocked away for a moment, rises for a floor and a wild shot from his right hand. Karachi Edo, though, takes it away. Cullen Russo on the perimeter, up fakes, drives by Cody Schwartz and leaves it back for Hopkins on the backdoor cut. Hopkins jams it in with two hands. Spartans are left reeling here. They do not look crisp. They do not look sound. At times have looked confused. And it's resulted in a 15-point lead now for the Bulldogs. Skip pass to Schwartz. Schwartz to James. Takes the three. That's good from the left corner. Spartans needed one of those. And it has been a 21-5 run for Fresno State. Cullen Russo, he's left open for three. Bent the knees, tried to fake out that three. And now, again, the Spartans are just giving him that three-point line. He's not going to take it. Cullen Russo is 7 of 31 from the perimeter this year, and that's a wise choice for the Spartans. Hey, if you're going to be out there, go ahead, take it. We're going to back up and close down on defense instead. Jalen James now left side corner for Isaac Thornton. Dribble drive into the paint, wildly floats one up with a right-hand finger roll. It's short of the rim, taken by Edo. Edo bounces it ahead to Hopkins, stops on a dime, now curls around, drives in on the baseline. He's blocked from behind and fouled by Isaac Thornton. That is the 5th team foul for the Spartans. Excuse me, 4th team foul for the Spartans. First for Isaac Thornton. 27-15. Bulldogs top, 5:47 left in the first. Hopkins' first free throw, no. Hopkins a 52% free throw shooter. That has been one part of the Bulldogs game this year that has not been very good, although a couple of times this season they have killed some games from the free throw line. Paul Watson, a very good free throw shooter. Taylor as well. But they do have several players on their team that are in the 60s or below percentage-wise. 28-15. Thornton on the angle. It's Jalen James holding the ball low on the floor. Spins on a bounce to the right side. Extended free throw line for Clark. Leaves his feet. Throws it across court. It's stolen away. Taking it on the run is Hopkins. Waiting for the contact. Will just bounce one up and in off the window. Hopkins wanted to go in for the dunk, but then wisely delayed to see if he can draw the contact and the foul. And the Bulldogs have doubled up the Spartans once more. It's 30-15. Thornton down low and almost stolen away again by Russo, but Mitchell gets to this one, drives in, pauses, and a high right-hand drop is good from Brandon Mitchell. His first basket. Spartans with under 5 minutes to play in the first. Here comes Hopkins again driving in, and he knocks over Isaac Thornton, and it's an offensive foul as he lays it in. Very delayed whistle coming in, but that offensive foul coming against Jerron Hopkins. First personal foul to him. And the Spartans will make some substitutions. Coach Terry, both hedges have not been happy with the officiating in this first half. That much is certain. 30-17, Nichols. Left side for Schwartz. Had some room to shoot the three. Pulled it back down, though. Isaiah Nichols gets it back up top. Moves to the left. Stops at the free throw line. Takes the mid-jumper. It's short. And rebounded by the Bulldogs. Out ahead comes Hopkins. Dribbles right by Brandon Clark on a quick move to his left and finishes underneath the hoop. The Bulldogs have been sending one player back in transition, and it has worked several times to score them baskets. Mitchell right-hand dribble, handoff to Nichols. Around again for Clark. Gives it to J.C. Hillsman. Another underhand dribble handoff to Mitchell. Spin move down the lane. Wildly up with the shot, and a foul called against Fresno State.
The foul is on 13,
That is Cullen Russo's first personal foul. And team foul number 6 to the Bulldogs. Brandon Mitchell at the line.
Two shots.
Bulldogs are 8 of their last 9. And they're 54% from the field in this game. 13 of 24. Mitchell's first free throw. Got it to go. Spartans, meanwhile, they're 7 of 20 from the field, 35%. And have only taken 1 free throw. That was the first free throw of the game for the Spartans. Second one coming here, and it's short. Tipped up into the air and pulled away by Hopkins. Hopkins, long pass out in transition. Holding in the corner was Taylor. Brought it back up to Hopkins once more. Hopkins around a screen from Russo. He catches, drives on the right side, and goes up as he's fouled. Trying to finish high off the glass. 32-18. Bulldogs with the lead. 3:49 remaining in the first half. Another break points off the turnover. Spartans have only had 3 points from their bench. It's not been a good first half. Russo shooting. Free throws coming out of this break. And we have a back iron miss from Russo on his first attempt. Cullen Russo lines up his second free throw. And he hits that one. The Bulldogs are 5 of 9 shooting the free throw in this first half. Nichols playing the point guard position right now for the Spartans. Up top for Brandon Clark. Moved along to the right side for Hillsman. Hillsman waiting for a high screen. Never got it, so he got it back to Nichols. Back over to Schwartz. Backs away from his defense. Crosses over, drives right side, pivot step, looking for help. Off of his dribble, Brandon Mitchell comes in to pursue. Pulls up for a 12-foot jump shot on the baseline side. That's a back iron miss. And it's rebounded by the Bulldogs. Watson out ahead to his left side. On the go, waiting for Russo. Russo wanted to throw the lob. Brandon Mitchell was there to contest, so he hands off to Taylor. Taylor shuffles left, Russo to his right, lobs down low, and it is underneath Williams, knocking over J.C. Hillsman, an offensive foul.
Offensive foul is called on number 11.
That's Williams' first personal foul.
His first.
Edo will come back in for the Bulldogs, and that is the 7th team foul for Fresno State. Spartans just have to score some baskets here. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You can't let the little things that have been frustrating this first half affect the closing minutes of the half. Brandon Mitchell with Russo on him. Crossing over, lobbing it down to Brandon Clark. Clark against Edo, takes him to the left side, and flips a shot up and down. And now on the other side, we have a travel called against Fresno State. So what is that, the 5th time that type of travel has been called? Maybe even 6th. Wow. 13-point game either way. And for the Bulldogs, that was their 9th turnover. 19 combined first half turnovers. And now we have a foul against Isaiah Nichols. Taylor called for the foul, Deshaun Taylor. And Deshaun Taylor's first personal, the 8th team foul. So we'll have a 1-and-1 opportunity coming from Nichols. Nichols, who had really a horrendous start shooting from the free throw line to his season, is still 8 of 26, made his first year. Once he started to see that first one go, he vastly improved. And he hits both relatively easy here. Good sign. 11-point game, 33-22. The Spartans just cut this thing to a single-digit deficit at halftime and then try to wash everything away. I think that would be their best hope at this point. Edo bounces on a backdoor, and it's stolen away by Mitchell, and he dribbled it just uncontrollably out of play. Had 2 hands on it for a moment, but went out of play underneath the basket. 16 seconds to shoot for the Bulldogs. They'll inbound baseline right, lobbed into Russo along the perimeter. Russo to his right, gives to Taylor. Now over to Russo for a three-point shot. It was no good. Nichols had to scurry after it along the baseline to pull it away from Watson. Now Nichols dribbling to his right, accelerating, holding, throwing back across his body to Mitchell. Wants to post up and can't, looking to lob. J.C. Hillsman cutting in. There was no opportunity, so he gives back to Nichols. Backs away, 12 seconds to shoot. Nichols will recall the play, take it to the left side off a screen, throws it back to Brandon Mitchell, takes a high arcing three, offline to the left side, no good. A good look for Brandon Mitchell, but not the three-point shooter the Spartans wanted to see up there. 1:30 to play in the half. Hopkins, left side, Taylor lobs a shot up on a teardrop after a drive and finishes with it. That was Deshaun Taylor on the finish. Now Isaiah Nichols right through traffic and through the defense, down low with a finger roll finish. Taylor stopping, Hopkins gets the drive. Hopkins goes in, is hacked on his way to the rim. And that foul goes to J.C. Hillsman. 16 foul, second personal J.C. 11-point game with 1 minute and 4 seconds left. James and Gary Williams Jr. coming back in. Hopkins free throw. Gets a soft bounce off the backboard and falls. Jalen James and Gary Williams Jr. come back in. Bittner also comes in for the Bulldogs. Sam Bittner. 12-point game. And the free throw good from Hopkins. Spartans with 1 minute left in the first. Nichols to his right, feeds it into the corner. Jalen James didn't have the opportunity to shoot the three. Got it back up to Mitchell. Reverses it left side. Gary Williams Jr. takes a contested three and hits it. Spartans needed that. That makes it a 10-point game. 37-27. On the angle now, it's Hopkins into the corner. Ball faking to the right side was Watson. He called for the travel. Well, if you're either team in the second half, I would advise not making a move on the catch. Every time it's been a travel. Every time. And now the Spartans can play for probably a final shot and try and cut it to single digits here with a made basket. Nichols turns his back on Hopkins. Hopkins waiting, trying to poke it free from Nichols, who's still waiting with 10 seconds to shoot. Nichols waiting, getting a screen from Brandon Clark. Now goes to the right side, floats one up. It was blocked and then knocked out of play with 4.8 seconds left. 4.8 seconds in the half, 3 seconds to shoot for the Spartans. Jalen James will inbound on the baseline right side. Brandon Clark gets the inbound. He rises up. Edo was there with his back to the ball. And as he was met, he is fouled. And Edo frustrated, but that is a foul to him as he just didn't know where the ball was and went up to contest the body. That's his first, the 9th team foul. And Brandon Clark can make it a single-digit deficit with one made free throw here. Still 4 seconds left, so plenty of time for the Bulldogs to do something with it before halftime. Gary Williams Jr. comes out. Brandon Clark at the line. Isaac comes in for Gary Williams Jr. Clark, first free throw, good. So he'll get another opportunity to make it an 8-point game. Well, as bad as half was for the Spartans, they go in the locker room down by 8. And there's the second free throw. And now accelerating very quickly as Hopkins loses control of the basketball. Isaac Thornton with a heave from half court to end the first half. It was well wide, but as bad as that first half was for the Spartans, an 8-point deficit I think they'll take into the locker room. 37-29, the halftime score. Don't go anywhere. We'll have the Team Clinic halftime show when we return to the event center, which will include an interview with the head coach of the gymnastics team. And Russo on the floor for the Bulldogs. Spartans have it, moving right to left in the second half. It's James. Right side exchanges with Brandon Clark. No, now Brandon Clark gets it back, throws it right side, and spins down the lane. Wild shot won't go. Taken by the Bulldogs. Hopkins into the corner. Watson now, dribble drive baseline. Cut off by the Spartans. Floated outside. Gary Williams Jr. almost got the steal. Hopkins into the corner. Now putting it on the floor. Russo hands off to Edo, who is denied at the rim by Clark. Loose ball came back out right into Edo once more for a two-hand jam. What was a great play turned into an opportunity for the Bulldogs that they did not miss. Now Wellich. Hands to James, pulls up for the mid-range jumper and hits it. Jalen James may have turned an ankle on that play as he's grimacing, backpedaling into position. But his 8th point of the game, 39-31. Watson lobs over to the right. Russo underneath to Edo on the catch. He's contested the ball and away by Brandon Clark. Quickly hands to James. Hobbling along, Jalen brings it up the floor. Waits for a moment, goes around a screen, thought about pulling up again, leaves his feet back out to Ryan Wellich, catches, collects, shoots the three, and got it! Ryan Wellich need that presence on offense from the Spartans. And Wellich, his first basket of the game, makes it 39-34. Now the Bulldogs with a right-hand dribble from Watson. Pauses for a moment, draws the contact from Ryan Wellich, and the foul coming in against Wellich. Before that shot was taken. That's Ryan's first personal and the first team foul. Inbound to Watson, right over to Cullen Russo now. Touch pass to Hopkins, driving left side. Hopkins can't finish underneath the rim. Deflected off of the Spartans, rescued on the left side by Jalen James, running out of play, leaving his feet and getting it back to Gary Williams Jr. Now Williams drives in, goes up and is fouled. Well, Spartans certainly have come out with a little more pep in their step in the second half. Cullen Russo called for the second personal foul of his game. And the first team foul of the half of the Bulldogs. Here's Gary Williams Jr. at the free throw line. And Gary Williams Jr., a great free throw shooter that has not been there very often in the last few games. First up and good from Gary. It's a 4-point game now for the Spartans. Just talking something over very quickly here before Gary Williams Jr. puts up the second. He had 4 straight double-figure scoring games before that Colorado State game. Second free throw gets the shooter's roll to fall. He has 7 in this one. Spartans now pressing the Bulldogs. And they break it to Taylor. Taylor weaving his way across the timeline and now hands back to Hopkins. 20 seconds to shoot for Hopkins. Hopkins dribbles right. Spartans in their man-to-man defense. Russo on the perimeter. Up fake. Tries to drive by Ryan Wellich. Goes up to contest and holds on to the ball. And Ryan Wellich with a nice job holding firm defensively, although Russo was backing him in. It will remain a Bulldog basketball. Shot clock reset to 15 seconds. And, yeah. Well, now they reset it to 10. Here's the inbound on a bounce to Watson. Backs up with 9 seconds to shoot. Watson drives by Gary Williams Jr. Goes up and right past the swatting hand from Brandon Clark. Banks it in. 41-36. Gary Williams Jr. up fake. Head fake. Now drives in left side. He leaves his feet and he gets fouled. Once more we'll go to the free throw line. That's what the Spartans need. They need that dribble drive presence. And Gary Williams Jr. just gave it to him. And is awarded free throws here. Gary Williams Jr. back at the free throw line. Here comes the first and got it to go. So Spartans did not get to the free throw line much at all in the game against Colorado State, especially in the second half. They only had 6 points from the line in that game out of 8 shots. Gary Williams Jr. himself in this game has 4 the second half. Just hit his second free throw. And Gary Williams Jr. has 9 points. The press still applied by the Spartans. Long bounce out to Cullen Russo. Russo attacking, throwing outside, and throws it wide of Taylor. And out of play, the turnover for the Bulldogs. 41-38 Spartans. 17:20 on the second half clock. Now James moving to his right. Gives to Cody Schwartz. Back up for Gary Williams Jr. Looking, wanting to throw down low. Attacks once more, backs up, leaves his feet, back out to Ryan Wellage. Takes a contested 3, and he got it! Ryan Wellage ties the game. 41 all. A 15-point deficit erased by the Spartans over the course of a long and grueling comeback. We're tied at 41. Russo outside, bounces to Edo, and almost stolen away. Ball loose on the floor, diving for it is Cody Schwartz and calling for a timeout. Schwartz got to it, and it will be a Spartan basketball. Not a timeout, but Schwartz got to it. The whistle came in for a held ball, and the Spartans will have it. 12-2 run in 2 minutes and 36 seconds for the Spartans. Wellage to inbound for San Jose State, who can try and take their first lead in quite some time. Spartans waiting to inbound here as they wipe up some water from the floor. Spartans will inbound from the far sideline, attacking the bucket to our left. And here it is to Jalen James. James one-on-one, backing in with Taylor. James to the right. Cody Schwartz has it. Dribbles across back to Gary Williams Jr. Gary now crosses over to his right. Motions the offense with a left hand. Wants to pull up. Steps back against Edo. Throws to the right side. Cody Schwartz collects. Shoots the 3, and he got it too! Cody Schwartz redirects a wild pass and hits. Cody Schwartz has 6, and the Spartans lead by 3. Now a catch-and-shoot 3 on the other side. That's a back iron miss, and Bittner goes up for the rebound. He is fouled from behind by Ryan Wellage. A 15-2 run for the Spartans. Unbelievable comeback, and now we have a foul before the inbound. Cody Schwartz got tied up with a Bulldog, trying to guard on that catch. And he was called for the foul. That's the first for him, the third team foul. Now waiting to inbound the Bulldogs from the right side of the baseline. Almost stolen by Ryan Wellage. Grabbed again by Bittner. Bittner throws to the left side. Catching on that side is Hopkins. He puts a shot up. It was no good. Wild on the floor again. Now Watson finds himself open for 3. It was no good. High off the glass it comes, and over the top of the backboard. It will be a Spartan basketball as the chaos settles and the Spartans have a lead. 44-41. San Jose 4-41. San Jose State. Here's the lob to Gary Williams Jr. as the press was applied on the inbound. Gary will calmly walk it up. Jalen James gets the exchange from him. Jalen pointing out a screen, waiting. Now goes to the right side from Wellage's screen. Tosses into the corner. Schwartz rotates back to his right. 12 seconds to shoot. James throws the lob to Brandon Clark, who catches and is fouled while airborne. There won't be a shooting foul on the catch, but it will reset the shot clock to 30. And that is the first personal foul to Bittner and the third team foul to the Bulldogs in this half. James gets it into Cody Schwartz. Schwartz on the wing, right side. Maneuvers it back up to Gary Williams Jr. Now a left-hand dribble for Gary. Waiting for a screen. Now goes to the left side and pulls up from the baseline. Fadeaway jumper, good. Gary Williams Jr., what a presence he's been in this second half. 11 points overall, and 6 of them coming in the second half. Watson dribbles left. Edo gets it up top. Edo Scoops it back for Hopkins. Good passing here to the left side for Taylor now. He pulls up for a contested deep look at a two. Halfway down and out, no good. Edo, the offensive rebound, rises over a couple of white jerseys, and he drops it in. And now almost a turnover, and it's knocked off the knee of Gary Williams Jr., so it will be a turnover. Hopkins was harassing Gary Williams Jr. and forcing that turnover from the Spartans. 46-43. Spartans leading. And Bittner inbounds. Isaiah Nichols getting ready to check in for the Spartans. Hopkins in tight. Edo right underneath the basket. Nobody home to get to Edo, and Edo just floats it in. That was one of his easier baskets. And now Jalen James, he goes up for a potential shot, stripped of the basketball, no foul called, out of play off the Bulldogs though. Edo has 14. He and Gary Williams Jr. the only players in double figures so far. Gary comes out to take a seat. And here comes Jalen James to inbound for the Spartans. Baseline right side underneath their own hoop. Floats it into Brandon Clark on the elbow right side. Dribbles into the paint, runs up for a float. Just offline to the left side. And rebounded by the Bulldogs. Stutter step move down the lane. Hopkins goes up to Brandon Clark, another block. He pulls it back down. James looking around. Scoops it back to Ryan Wellage. Sets his feet for three, and it's just short. Bounded by the Bulldogs. Hopkins pauses for a moment with a 1-point deficit for the Bulldogs. Spartans on top. Now it's Watson. Watson right side. Watson dribbles around the screen. Wellage trying to pick it away from him. Bittner now. Thought about the three. Dribbles against Clark. Goes to his left side. Taylor up fake against Nichols. Nichols holds firm to guard against him with 5 seconds to shoot. Hopkins backing away. Crossing over. Taking down the right side. Tosses down low to Edo. Edo finishes with the right hand. Edo has been left open far too many times. 47-46 Bulldogs. Nichols now. Dribbles left, throws left into the corner, rotating back is James. James pauses, delays, goes right down the lane, and finishes with a high right hand. Now a turnover by the Bulldogs. The Spartans get it back. Nichols to his right side. Nichols looking for the skip, gets it into the corner for Schwartz, steps back, takes the three, just short. Rebound though, Ryan Wellage has it, knifing through to get to it, and skips it across to Nichols, who resets. There haven't been very many offensive rebounds for the Spartans in this game, but that was their third, and a big one, as they have the 1-point lead, and now a fresh 30. Here comes James on the attack. To his left, stopped on the switch, has Bittner now in between the circles. Crosses him over, takes him left side, and we have a foul coming against Bittner on the drive from Jalen James. 4th team foul for the Bulldogs, his 2nd personal. Edo will come out. He'll take a seat for a moment. Also, Hopkins takes a seat. Williams and Taylor, they come back in. 12:32 left. Here in the second, 48-47, Clark has it. Now over to Wellage. Wellage around to the right side. Wellage rises for three, and it's offline to the left side. Nobody for a rebound this time from the Spartans. Another good look, though, from Ryan Wellage. Watson dribbles it to his right, now dribbles back up top. Bittner gets the exchange on a scoop pass to his right side. Bittner now rises for a shot. No shot was called, as a foul came before the shot was taken, even though the shot was made. And Coach Terry doesn't like that he didn't get that continuation. Brandon Mitchell comes back in for Ryan Wellage. Isaac Thornton about to re-enter for Jalen James. And Gary Williams Jr. also coming back in for the Spartans for Cody Schwartz. Spartans trying to keep a fresh rotation going. Inbound, Watson has it. Holds for a moment with two hands. Gary Williams Jr. guarding against him. Right hand extended. Now Watson dribbling to the right side. He hits Gary Williams Jr., falls over and travels with it. That is the 16th turnover for the Bulldogs. Coach Terry, he may have just been warned by one of the officials. And now Coach Terry is in the face of another official. And he's saying, I'm calm, but you got to work with me. And this officiating has not been crisp, we'll say. But that you couldn't argue with. Gary Williams Jr. guarding and perhaps arguing the contact and no foul. Nichols now to the right side. Gary Williams Jr. up top, holding across for Mitchell. Now Nichols on a drive, delaying, waiting, hanging in the air. Got a shot up, it was no good. Out of nowhere, Gary Williams Jr. has the offensive rebound. And here we go with a reset. Nichols looking to the sideline. Coach Wojcik positioning players. Nichols backs up, waiting to attack. Looking to his right side. Brandon Clark coming up for a screen, goes to the right side of it, and a foul is called against the Bulldogs with 11:25 remaining in the second half. A 1-point Spartan lead, 48-47, a break in the field. With a 1-point advantage, and Isaac Thornton lobs into Gary Williams Jr., who grabs it and gives back to Isaac. Isaac wanting to throw down low, almost turned that ball over as Taylor got a hand on it. The deflection, however, came right to Brandon Clark. Fortunate for the Spartans, they do not turn it over. 17 seconds to shoot. Nichols looking to the sideline again. Here comes a screen from Brandon Clark. Nichols dribbled high to the right side. Back for Gary Williams Jr. He takes a three ball, and it's a high back iron miss. Pretty good look from Gary Williams Jr., but couldn't get it to fall. Taylor now over to his left side. Taylor bounces down low into some traffic and tipped away off of Bryson Williams, out of play. Another Bulldog turnover. Both teams have not scored in close to 3 minutes, but the Bulldogs have turned it over 3 times in the last 3 minutes and 17 times overall in the game. Not even halfway through the second. Mitchell, Nichols, Thornton, they come out. James, Schwartz, Wellage come back in. The token press applied by the Bulldogs. And now broken, and walking it back was Taylor against James. Over to the right, it's Schwartz. Ball fakes to his left. Clark up top, dribbles left. Wanted that handoff, faked it, now spun right around Edo and finished with a finger underneath the rim. Dazzling moves from Brandon Clark for his first points of the second half. And now a foul coming in against Brandon Clark as he was locked up with Edo. First foul to Clark, 5th team foul to the Spartans. Taylor around for Hopkins. Hopkins dribbles through the left side of the lane, bounces it down low for Edo. Edo went up and was contested again by Brandon Clark. Another block, but another time where the perseverance of Edo gets him a basket as he got it back and put it in. 18 points for him. Brandon Clark has had a couple of games already this year with 6 blocks. And Clark has just been on a tear. Meanwhile, the Spartans miss a shot on their last opportunity. Clark, that was number 6 for him in this case. And now the Bulldogs get it down with Taylor, and they lay it in for the lead. Jamel Taylor, 51-50, Bulldogs. They're 5 of their last 7 are the Bulldogs. The Spartans 2 of their last 9. 16 seconds, James waiting, still waiting. Coach Wojcik trying to get his players in order with 10 seconds to shoot. This is taking way too much time. James now attacks outside Cody Schwartz, up fake, and he traveled with it. This happened so many times in this game. So the Spartans, who waste all that time for nothing. Their 12th turnover of the game is what they got out of it. Although just their second of the second half. Meanwhile, a 3 ball, and it was no good. From behind comes Hopkins as Ryan Wellage was putting 2 hands on the basketball, and Hopkins fouled Wellage. That is his 3rd personal foul and the 6th team foul for the Bulldogs. Spartans are in the bonus now. James, cross midcourt to Cody Schwartz on a pivot foot. Left side, he throws to Brandon Clark. Around the perimeter once more to the left, it's James. James out for Ryan Wellich. Tries to cut in against Russo, and he was cut off. Now goes to the right side on the baseline, stops, spins around, and he traveled with it. Well, that's a theme of this game. Too many walks. 51-50. It's been a game of turnovers. Fresno State with 17, Spartans with 13. Now Taylor dribbles around the screen from Edo. Edo catches now, attacks. Beautiful blind pass back out to Russo. 3-ball, good. That was superb ball movement and finish from Cullen Russo, who hadn't taken one all game and waited for the proper opportunity to use it. And a bounce pass coming in from the Spartans that ends up being a foul from Gary Williams Jr. It was almost thrown away. Well, the Spartans now down 54-50. Gary Williams Jr.'s second personal foul. And both teams in the bonus now with 6 fouls. Russo and the Bulldogs can try and extend their lead. A lead that was at one point 15. Spartans took the lead back, and the Bulldogs attacking now. Outside again. Chance for a 3, no. Taylor puts it on the deck, goes right by Brandon Clark. It was no good, couldn't finish. Tipped out by the Spartans to Jalen James. Looking for options. Cody Schwartz in transition. Fires for 3. Halfway down, didn't hit. Russo the board. Hopkins out ahead. Looks to his coach, Terry, to his right. Hopkins crosses body to the left side for Russo. Feathers a pass down low for Edo. Edo tossed it off the backboard. No good, off the bottom part of the backboard. Taken by the Spartans. Now it's Nichols wildly in the lane, and he traveled with it. My, oh my. 54-50, the Bulldogs. And Mitchell trying to tie up the offense. Hopkins and Watson, and Mitchell got a turnover. Now Thornton attacking. Thornton finishes with a finger roll. And the Spartans with that press getting the 18th turnover of the game from the Bulldogs. It's Watson. Watson calmly holding. Hopkins now bounces down low. Russo open for 3, and he takes it. Cannot hit it. Skying for the rebound. Brandon Mitchell pulls it in. Jalen James crosses over the half-court stripe. Isaac Thornton back to Brandon Clark. Left-hand dribble, and we have an illegal screen coming against Isaiah Nichols. Nichols frustrated with the call, but that is an offensive foul, his first personal, and the 7th team foul for the Spartans. Spartans will still press on this inbound, one that forced the turnover last time they did so. Here's the breakout though to Russo. Wants to attack, cut off by Nichols. Now floats it back to Russo from Hopkins. Goes in for a baseline jam. You can't give him an inch because he will take it all the way. Russo, impressive athleticism, and it's still a 4-point lead for the Bulldogs. 56-52. Nichols on the drive, throwing the lob, looking for Ben Clark, who was boxed out by Edo, touched it back, the turnover to Watson, the bounce down low, and it's picked up by the Spartans. Mitchell got to it. Now James on the attack right side, takes it to the baseline, calls for the timeout in a 56-52 lead. Spartans still on the hunt for their first win in the Mountain West Conference this year. Ryan Wellich on the inbound, has it, backs up, tries to back down his defender and just gives it away to James, who comes up to grab. 16 seconds to shoot for Jalen, 6 minutes remaining in the game. Jalen takes it left side, leaves his feet, floats it up, was no good. Punched at by Brant Clark, but he can't grab it. Edo gets to it though. Edo to Hopkins. Hopkins down the lane. Finger roll lay-in was no good, but there is an offensive foul on Hopkins as Isaac Thornton stood firm and took the charge. Hopkins' 4th personal foul and the 7th team foul Rodney Terry, he's trying to keep his cool. He knows he can't afford a technical foul. Oh, but he wants to get one. He is hot. Now the press from the Bulldogs, but kind of a loose one that's backed out of now. James trying to wait, and James will throw left side for Cody Schwartz, catches and gives right back to Jalen. Spartans really methodical moving and slow moving offense. And now an offensive foul called against the Spartans. Ryan Wellage moving screen. Brandon Mitchell will come in. Coach Wojcik is now hot. And Scott Shaw very quick onto the floor to grab some piece of equipment that fell. Eyes like a hawk. Spartan athletic trainer, if you don't know who that is. 56-52. 5:20 left in the game. Bulldogs leading. Taylor now. Eye to eye with Isaac Thornton. Around a quick screen from Russo. Up top is Edo looking to post up Russo. Edo holds on to it. Scoops it back right into the chest of Taylor. Taylor drives in and Taylor travels with it. Well, we can't go more than a minute in this game without a travel. I don't think that's by law in this one. 56-52. 5:06 to play. It's turning another sloppy moment in this game. Wellage with 4 personal fouls. Hopkins with 4 personal fouls. Wellage is on the court right now with his 4. Now James moves to his right. Gives back to Cody Schwartz, around for Gary Williams Jr. Not even looking at the rim. Now he attacks left side. Gary Williams Jr. right to the rim, and he angles a shot in, but he was fouled before that drive. Gary Williams Jr., he's got to continue to do that in this type of game where there are so many fouls and not very many opportunities. Why not drive, draw the contact? And with Gary Williams Jr. ability from the free throw line, that's what they need to see. Gary's first free throw rattles in. He's got 12, 79% from the free throw line coming into this game. And Gary this afternoon, he is 5 for 5 from the free throw line. Thornton back in, Schwartz out, Mitchell in, and Village out. Here is Gary's second free throw. Yes. 13 for Williams Jr. 2-point lead, and the press again applied by the Spartans. Mitchell harassing, long outlet to Edo. Catches and holds and bounces back for Taylor. Jamel Taylor waiting. Up top, Edo set the screen, went on a high pick, and now Jamel Taylor drives, finishes, and is fouled. That ignites the Bulldog bench. They're up and out of their seats. Gary Williams Jr. has his 3rd personal foul. Wellage will come back in. Schwartz will come back in. Thornton and Mitchell take seats. And back to a 4-point game. 4.5 to play. Taylor's and 1 free throw is good. He's not the guy you want to foul. You don't want to see him at the free throw line. He's 84% this year. Now it's a 5-point game. James angles it back to Gary Williams Jr. Gary Williams Jr. on the deck, driving in, and he hangs up and is fouled by Karachi Edo. Edo came up with a block. No, it's not against Edo. Beg your pardon, it's Deshaun Taylor. Edo with that clean block, and I thought he had the contact with it, but not the case. That is the 9th team foul to the Bulldogs. And once again, Gary Williams Jr. at the free throw line. Gary Williams Jr. has 13, and his first is good. He has been nails from the line. Although the Spartans have not scored from the field in the last 3 minutes, they're at least sticking with the Bulldogs because of free throws. Mitchell back in for Wellage. And Gary bending the knees for the second free throw. Here it comes. It's also good. Boy, what a welcomed presence that has been in this game. And now Gary Williams Jr. will take a seat, presumably for the final push in this game. The Bulldogs should mention, when they're leading after 5 minutes, their last 33 games they have won when leading after 5 minutes. And that's what they have right now. 4:11 remaining in this game. 59-56. Taylor pointing out a screen, gets it over to the opposite Taylor. Deshaun, up fake, sticking with him was Thornton. Now it is Jamel Taylor driving against Jalen James. Cullen Russo down the lane, throws the lob for Edo, catches, redirects, scores. Edo has 20 points in this game, 61-56. Spartans have not scored in 3.5 minutes. James waiting to give up top to Schwartz. Now a bounce for Thornton. 10 seconds to shoot. Thornton's to his right side. Thornton down the right side of the lane. Right to the rim. Can't finish. Putback is there from Brandon Clark. 12 for Brandon Clark. 61-58. The Spartans find themselves in a familiar spot trying to get a stop. Skying in. Jam was Watson, and he fanned on it. I'm not sure that Brandon Clark got a hand on the ball. I just think it was a flat-out miss from Watson, who was going for the glory and missed. James has it for the Spartans with 3 minutes to play. 61-58. Schwartz now. Left side. Back up for Thornton. Waiting to attack. Thornton around that screen. Nowhere to go. Now fires left side. Brandon Mitchell driving in baseline. He is fouled. Going up for his shot on the reverse lay-in opportunity. Go to the free throw line when we come back. 61-58. Bulldogs leading. 2:48 remaining and here to shoot 2. And Mitchell rewarded with an aggressive drive to get to the line here. First free throw is a knockdown from Brandon Mitchell. Makes it a 2-point game. Mitchell, the 6'6" junior from Memphis on the red shirt. 6 of 8 from the free throw line coming into this game. Missed his second, halfway down and out, no good. Spartans just need to get a stop. That's what it comes down to. All of this sloppy play can go away with a couple of defensive stands here by the Spartans. And it's Watson with Isaac Thornton on him. Watson waiting to go right side. Isaac forces him to the left. Cullen Russo gets the catch. Drives in against Brandon Clark. Rises. Isaac blocked him from behind. Thornton, a beautiful play with anticipation. Picked his pocket from behind. 61-59. 2:08 remaining. Right side James. Now Schwartz. Up top Thornton. Looking, goes to his right side, throws back across his body. It's James now on the wing. It's Schwartz. Jab step, takes a contested 3. Cody Schwartz, it was short, and trying to get to that down was Cody. Out ahead to Russo. Russo driving in. He is blocked from behind by Brandon Mitchell, pinned it against the backboard. The Spartans have it back. Unbelievable from the Hawk. Brandon Mitchell with a LeBron James-esque chase down block. And Jalen James will go to the baseline and call for the timeout. Unreal effort from Brandon Mitchell. High pointed the ball and swatted it away. As they're against each other on this inbound. The lob into Brandon Clark. Clark just trying to go one-on-one, rises up for the shot and drops it in for the tie. A lot of contact there. Unfortunately, Brandon Clark got it to go, albeit no foul called. We're tied again, 61 all. And now Coach Terry wants a timeout. Fresno State calling for the timeout. Brandon Mitchell, Isaac Thornton getting ready to check back in defensively for the Spartans. Coach Terry of Fresno. Russo will get it into Hopkins, playing with 4 personal fouls. Hopkins to the right side, met by Brandon Clark, throws it back left for Watson. Up top, Russo, around for Watson again. Spartans holding firm on their defense, and now it's thrown to Russo. Russo on a drive, goes up for the shot, and is fouled by Isaac Thornton from behind. Well, Cullen Russo to the line where he's not a very good free throw shooter. Under 60%. That is the 10th team foul, so there will be 2 shots for Russo. Gary Williams Jr. getting ready to come back in. First shot from Russo is no good, much to the joy of those in attendance here from the event center. Thornton comes out, Gary Williams Jr. back in. No points for the Bulldogs in the last 2 minutes and 51 seconds. Russo, second free throw, good. Well, at least it does give the Bulldogs the lead by 1. Bulldogs trying to get a stop here, and the inbound from Jalen James is too late for a substitution of Ryan Welledge. James waiting up top, goes to his right side. Now coming off a screen, the backdoor cut to Brandon Clark, and he is fouled while airborne. Beautifully designed play for the Spartans to get the feed to Brandon Clark, and he was fouled in the air. Perfect pass from the Spartans' Jalen James. Heck of a play. And Brandon Clark will go to the line for 2. His first is good, rattled it in. They needed 1. And now Brandon Clark can try and give the Spartans the lead here. Spartans last led at the 10-minute mark of this half. That was when it was 50-49. Hopkins comes back in. Deshaun Taylor takes a seat. Now it's Clark at the line. Second free throw, no good. Offensive rebound. Brandon Mitchell pauses in a 62-62 game. And now the Spartans, still with about a 20-second differential on shot clock and game clock here at the end of the second half, will wait to make their move. 15 seconds to shoot. James looking. James hands off to Schwartz, around for Thornton in between the circles. Thornton driving in with 5 seconds to shoot. Outside James, he puts it on the floor, leaves his feet, gets the shot away, and got it to fall! A 2-point lead for the Spartans. Hopkins on the other side, outside to Russo. Watson driving in, offensive foul, knocks over Jalen James. With 16 seconds to go. Jalen James holding strong. Isaac Thornton will come off. Gary Williams Jr. will come on. And there's 16 seconds left. Timeout called by San Jose State. And they'll get their free throw shooters on. And Rodney Terry just got, what a clutch shot from Jalen. Fouls, and he's got to get 1. Here's the first from Gary Williams Jr. He got the first. He's got 16. 1 more from him would tie his season high. 16 points for Gary Williams Jr. And a majority of them, as he hits the second one, tying his season high of 17. He's got 10 points from the free throw line in this game. And now the Spartans will have the ball. And the Bulldogs will presumably try to foul immediately with 16 seconds left. And the ball is turned over by the Spartans on the inbound. Watson down low, he throws it away. Watson had 2 3-point shooters available, and that exemplifies how this game has gone. Sloppy play met by sloppy play with 12 seconds left. Spartans do not have any timeouts. Cody Schwartz will take it out. And that was just a bad inbound pass met by a bad feed. And before the inbound, another technical foul issued to Rodney Terry, and he is gone. Coach Terry has had enough. And he makes his way off the floor. 66-62, and now Gary Williams Jr. will go to the free throw line. Gary's first free throw is good. Gary Williams Jr. just tied his career high. He's got 11 points from the free throw line. Now Gary Williams Jr. can make it a Well, Gary Milian, it was about time. He missed 11 of 12 from the free throw line. And the Spartans closing out this game with an 11-1 run. 67-62. And now the inbound from Cody Schwartz just gets it into Ryan Wellage, and he is quickly fouled on that inbound by Russo. Ryan Wellage can add on to the lead here. So that is the fourth personal foul to Cullen Russo to persevere in this game for the Spartans. Throughout just a real sloppy game and persevere through the officiating. Ryan Wellage hits the free throw. He has 7 second half points. That's a testament to the Spartans to be able to do this, and I guess the team that's 10-5 and has had some very, very nice wins this year. Wellage second free throw, nothing but net. 8 points for him. Shot clock is at 11, and a deep three taken by the Bulldogs. Down Brandon Clark, and they will not foul as the Spartans, who are down by 15 at one point in this game, come from behind and late pull out the victory.